But I think great brands actually look at what we would call social inflection points. So moments in time where society is sort of on the verge of something. And I think about, and we talk a lot at Coca-Cola about the peace movement in sort of the 60s and the 70s. And that's a time period where we feel like we actually took a look at a social inflection point, which was sort of the time period in the US between war and peace. And a movement around, the peace movement existed, but you sort of had people on either side. And that was when Coca-Cola, gathered youth of the world and brought them together on a hilltop in, I think, Italy. And they sang a song, right, and about peace and harmony. So I think Coca-Cola and other brands can help sway where things are going. I think they can help endorse it by giving it maybe social credence while maybe it's still in its inception. But I don't think brands, we talk a lot about the sustainability movement, and I spend a lot of time with colleagues saying, it's not about we're creating a movement. The movement already exists.
Yes.
We're just maybe making it more accessible for people around the world because of who we are and because of our brand. And so I think that's the role brands can play. They can popularize things, they can make it more accessible, they can make it popular, but by the time it becomes popular, it's almost mainstream. So I think the brands have the opportunity to help consumers achieve what they really want to achieve by making it something we can all access. And I think that's the difference between, I think the green movement spends a lot of time saying, will you, doing surveys and saying, would you be willing to pay 10% more for a green product? Well, who would, most people will say, well, sure, because you haven't actually asked me to shell out any money. Right? And so how do I translate that into action? And I think what brands can do is actually make it so that you can access the movement without having to either dig deeper into your pocketbook or make a huge personal sacrifice. And some people can do that, but most people can't. And so when we can bring that to them, I think that is when brands are operating at their best to help people achieve their dreams.
So are we at another inflection point?
I think we are. I see sort of, and that's where I think as you look at a lot of the companies, that have sort of fallen in the recent past. And I sit in Houston, Texas, where a number of those were located. So we definitely lived the fall of some of the companies like Enron. But I think what we're seeing is people saying, I want more from the brands that I buy, and I want more from the companies that I buy. But it's not just about that consumerism, it's about understanding how those products are made. So I think consumers are literally at a moment in time of saying, I'm no longer going to shop without a conscience. I'm going to consciously look at that product, try to understand it, maybe try to understand the ingredients, understand how it can support my overall well-being, understand where it was sourced, who made it. And that's just our relationship with companies. I think consumers are also changing their relationship with government and changing their relationship with their communities. And those used to all be kind of separate, but now they're all merging into one. So I think we're at a social inflection point where the sustainability movement can become not about sort of the elites who can afford to, take extreme measures to be sustainable, which I think we all admire, but it just doesn't seem realistic. And so I think we're at a point where suddenly that access we talked about from the 50s, where suddenly you could actually have a car, or you could actually have a home. And a lot of goods became actually reasonable and cheap and affordable. I think we're at a point in time where people are saying, where people are starting to say, so we're at that tipping point where people are looking at it and going, it's not just about price anymore. I want to understand more, and I want access to things that otherwise you might not have given me access to.